Hello, my name's Charmaine Bryan, author of the book Stop Buying Clothes You Don't Wear, founder of Charmaine Bryan Image Consulting. I help entrepreneurs and professionals to elevate their image by enhancing their appearance, behavior, and communication. So thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be talking about me, who I am. It's about Charmaine. I get a lot of questions about why I'm living in Toronto. How did I end up here? So I figured today is that opportunity to talk about me, what I did before, and just give you an opportunity to get to know me. And if you come on live, feel free to ask me any questions. So who is Charmaine Bryan? Well, as you can tell, I'm from the UK, from London, England. I grew up there. I was born and grew up in London. I lived there until 6 years ago, all my life. Lived in South London, typically went to school in South London, inner city, London school. It was a girls' Church of England school. I went there until I was 16, and then I went to university. Well, college, you go to college to do A-levels, and then university, where I did sociology, and then started work, and that's when I guess my career began. That was then I done a variety of temping jobs then, and then I found my niche in education policy. I started off in government, and I worked for a non-departmental body on qualifications and curriculum development at the time, and I was fortunate that they sponsored me to do my master's degree. So I did a master's in policy studies in education at the University of London Institute for Education. And yeah, that was what I did for 4 years until I then moved on to work mainly at the program level, local authorities, or as we would say in America and North America, school boards. So whereas what I was doing at national level, qualification, implementation, curriculum development, I was actually implementing it at local level. So running those programs, working with practitioners. I also worked in a college as well at one point, where I actually and worked with students on a day-to-day. So that was really me, and I did that for 8 years, and I enjoyed that. And I did the usual thing. It was really working on my career. It was at the time, had a boyfriend, we were engaged, we bought a house together. So I guess I did all the things that you kind of feel like you should do in your 20s. And then things changed and we broke up, and I then decided that I wanted to move abroad. I wanted to go and live somewhere different. So I decided to choose Canada. Why did I choose Canada at the time? Well, because I was still of an age where I could get a working holiday visa. And getting a working holiday visa, for those of you who don't know what working holiday visa is, it's usually an agreement between the countries where you can move between the countries, usually for a year or 2 years. The age range is usually 18 to 13 or 18 to 35. And I decided that's the easiest way to go and live abroad. And because you don't need to worry about immigration, you get a working holiday visa, you can go and work in most jobs, and then you can travel around. So I chose Canada because at the time that's where I could get a visa for, and I'd always wanted to do it. And also, I guess when I was young, while I was at university, I had done a summer in the US where I worked for the summer for a few months. So I worked and traveled. So I always said I wanted to go to Canada, and I guess I'd never gotten around to it. So before I became too old to get that visa, I decided to apply for it. So I applied for it just before I turned 31, because the age limit between Canada and the UK is age 30. So I just about got in there. And then that's when I moved to Toronto 6 years ago. And at that time when I moved, it wasn't a permanent move. It was, as I said, it was a year's working holiday visa. I thought I'd be here for a year. I would work and travel, and then I would go back to London or go and do something else. But as it happens, I applied for another visa and I stayed another year, and then the permanent resident rules changed, so I was eligible to apply, so I did. And while I was in Canada, I continued working in education for a few years in a not-for-profit, but it was really doing policy and research work. So it was kind of a little bit like what I used to do right at the beginning of my career when I worked in government. But I found that I wasn't happy doing what I was doing there. And, I thought it was a case of apply for other jobs. I'm just not really happy in the job that I was doing. But I think what I didn't really realize at the time was that I just wasn't really happy working in that particular area. I mean, I kind of had an idea that I would love to work for myself one day, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I guess I kind of plodded along, and then it was 3 years ago now, I decided I had an interest in thrifting and going to clothing swaps. So I decided to do a course at George Brown College, was looking up fashion courses just to do something for fun at the time. And it was a continuing education course. I could do it in the evening while I was working. And then that's when I found image consulting. I signed up for one of the programs. It was personal development, absolutely loved it. And then decided to take more of the courses. So I went on to do style, color and wardrobe, business etiquette, personal development, as I said, presentation skills. I mean, the presentation skills actually surprised me at the time, because I thought I don't need to, I didn't really think, because I'm in Toastmasters, I didn't think I would learn anything new, but I was pleasantly surprised that I did learn something new, and it's always a continuous development. So that was what I was doing at George Brown at the time. And one of the courses was also a business course, and I decided to take that and actually write a business plan. And I thought that was my assignment. I thought I'm going to write a business plan. And when I actually got the assignment back, the actual tutor, who is a business coach, said it was a great assignment, probably one of the best he had seen in how many years. And that's when it really gave me that push to decide to start my own image consulting business. So that's what I decided to do. I finished up my course at George Brown, and then I did what do I do now? It's all very well talking about starting a business in class and writing a business plan, but actually putting it into action, that was what was nerve-wracking at the time. So I remember at the time, after I finished my course, I then joined a business course, and that was run through one of the Toronto libraries, and that was helpful. But again, it was an 8-week course, and didn't really know where to go with it. So after that, I actually joined a coaching program, and then that's when I really took action. When I joined that program, it was game changer. And that was a 60-day program, and it was very proactive, and it was a group coaching program, and we had a Facebook group where we had to post every day about the 6 things we were doing in business and in our personal lives. So that really gave me the jump start to really go out there and start doing things for my business, in my business, that I didn't have the confidence to do before because that, as I said at the time, when you are taking classes, you think, oh, this sounds great, but it's actually taking action. And that is the hardest, the most challenging part. So I decided finally to take some action and worked on my website and actually, worked with a few people in my old job who were in my team. They were fortunate to let me work with them, and they liked what I was doing. So that gave me the confidence to really go out and start networking and actually go out and start getting real clients. And that's what I did. So two years ago, over 2 years ago now, 2.5 years ago, I guess that's when, I really started doing things in my business, started working with clients. And then that was the year that I decided to write my book. I went to a personal development seminar, and there were all these authors launching their books. And I thought, okay, yeah, maybe a few years down the line, I will write a book. It's too early now. But interestingly enough, after pretty much the third day of this event, I decided I'm going to write my book. And this was in April. And so that was it. I decided to write my book in April, and I joined a book writing program, the 10-10-10 program. And then I actually had my book published by August. So I wrote it pretty quick, which, being in the program helped tremendously. And I really had that support of a book coach who pushed me along, really. If I didn't have that book coach, I probably wouldn't have finished the book as quickly as I did. And I published it and then started doing some talks based on my book, some of which I do talk about on this Facebook Live sometimes, which I haven't in a while, but I will go back to. So that's really what I've been doing the last few years. I have been here in Toronto working on building my business, which is hard work. When you're a solopreneur, it is really hard work, which is why last summer I decided to start a mastermind group with my co-mastermind creator. We decided that we needed some help. When you're, as I said, when you're a solopreneur, you need that support. And we started a mastermind group where we meet at the Center for Social Innovation every other week. And it gives you that accountability and people really to support you. And my mastermind group is great because I don't love writing, and I know I wrote a book, but I don't love writing. So my mastermind group are fantastic for reading anything that I need to put out there. But I've just been revamping my website, which you should go and take a look at, charmainebryan.com. So especially my about page and my mastermind group have been great because they do read my stuff before I put it out there and give me some ideas really on what I can do, which has been fantastic. And it's been really a journey for me, and it's still a journey because trying to build a business on your own is hard work. But it's something that I'm definitely going to be continuing to do, because although it's hard and it's challenging, and I had to, while I was doing it full time, I've even taken a part-time job, which has been great because then it means I can focus on my business and not worry about trying to necessarily, I need to get this client, I need to get this client. It's about really focusing on, who's right to work with rather than focusing on who I need to work with just to bring in cash flow. So it does ease things a little bit. But yeah, that's really how it came to be, me starting my business. And in terms of, I guess, me being in Toronto, I never thought I would be here for this much, for 6 years. I'm at that point where I can apply for citizenship now, which that's my next thing to do, because it makes sense. I've been living here long enough. I'm paying taxes. It makes sense to become a citizen, because there's elections next week. I'm unable to vote because I'm not a citizen. So, I want to have my say. So that's my next big thing. So that means going through tons and tons and tons of paperwork and thinking back to where I've traveled, because it's all of that. But I have been enjoying my time in Toronto. Will this be a forever place for me? Probably not. For me, actually, I want to go next. My next move is going to be somewhere warm year round. I love the summer. I mean, I actually like all seasons. I just don't love winter. And winters here are tough and long, and I do not want to be here forever, but I'm enjoying it while I am here. And I definitely want to go somewhere warm. Where that warm place will be, I don't know yet. But if you've got any suggestions as to where you think I should go, or where you think would be a great place, do put in the comments below. So that is me. That is how I came to be in Toronto. As I said, it was pure, not fluke, but it wasn't a planned, I'm going to emigrate to Canada. It was, I'm going to go on a working holiday visa. I am going to stay for a year and then I'm going to go home. And I didn't think I would still be here 6 years later, but I'm having a great time and it works for me for the moment. And who knows what the next 6 years will hold, if I'm still here or whether I'm somewhere in that warm place on the beach. But that's what I'm working towards, my business to be location independent. So that means I can be doing my Facebook lives one day from the beach. So that's me. Do go and look me up. Look my website up. It's charmainebryan.com. And do tune in next week again, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Thursday. Thanks for tuning in.